Yeah.
Want a hug? Sure, we can do that. All right, John.
Yes, sir.
Would you rather have the ability to fly or to teleport?
Fly or teleport? You know what? The trip to fly to St. Martin each year is miserable. I would like teleporting. So I could go every weekend.
There you go. All right.
But ask me about my wife.
About your wife.
Yes. I was so blessed. Like you, I married up. We just celebrated our 7 years of our first date. Just reached 6 years of marriage. So I am so blessed to still be in love. More importantly, she loves me like crazy. So. So, I'll do that later.
Oh, okay.
I'll call you back. Thanks. Okay, one of the things that we talk about is our products.
I think the common denominator that we finally settled upon.
And the common denominator is that we train all our employees very well. We try to make them leaders. And when I was preparing for today's 10-minute, this is one of the things that we use for training. So we'll continue on with that.
I think the common denominator that we finally settled upon was every leader we knew was hungry.
Well, I remember that night we had started writing words down, and it became almost like buzzword soup or buzzword bingo. It has character, has ambition, has vision, you know, and it just after a while, look at all these words, it's just a mess that didn't mean anything. As a matter of fact, pinning it on the hunger of a leader was accurate, because that is the starting point to anything that a leader does, because eventually we did get to the definition that we feel we can hang our hats on, and that is that a leader is driven toward a vision. They attack a status quo that they cannot let go. It's something that they have to change. They see an injustice, they see complacency, they see something that's not right, or they see something that could be much better, and they're driven by a purpose, by a cause, to attack that status quo and make it better. And they do that through their character and through their own performance and the influence that exerts on other people. Everybody can lead at any place they are with what they have, the person that they are already. Everybody can begin a journey toward affecting change and making their world better.
That's correct. And, you know, so you say, well, Orrin or Chris, what would I do right now to start leading? And the first thing I'd say was, what are you learning? In other words, are you reading on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? Are you putting the leadership material in? Are you putting information into your head that you can take and then start applying to become a better leader? It's amazing how many people they say, well, I'd like to be a leader, and yet they read no information from anybody who's out there leading. I mean, it's not, there's a statement that success leaves clues. Success leaves clues, but if you're not in the hunt, you're not going to notice any of the clues because you're too busy sitting there while the clues of leadership are going by you. So you got to create a hunger, start reading, start listening, associate as much as possible. It's like the old Southern saying, if you hang out with dogs, you get fleas. Well, what I'd say the other is if you hang out with leaders, you start developing leadership principles. And then you start applying those, and you're on your way to becoming a leader yourself.
Let's talk about this having principles and standing on principles, because that defines a leader. You and I have met these people. They look the part, they act the part, they talk the talk, but they're sailboats in the wind. They're charlatans. They're genteel, but they have no governing principles. When the wind blows, they flip and head in any direction the wind blows, whatever benefits them, whatever is pragmatic to their own comfort, their own peace, and their own affluence. And it's really the plague of our times. And that is not the kind of leadership we're talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, everything that you and I talk about is principle-centered. There are principles that we hold so dear that we're willing to sacrifice for our principles. A pragmatic says, well, I'm willing to change the principles to get the result that I want. And but a principle-centered says, I'm willing to sacrifice poor results in certain situations for the principles. But long term, the principle-centered person will always, in my personal opinion, will get better results because people will eventually no longer follow. So to me, all leadership begins with understanding your principles and not being that sailboat and saying, these are my North Star principles and I will follow that star. The wealthiest man in the world is given 24 hours in a day. The greatest leader is given 24 hours in a day. And the poorest man or the poorest leader is given 24 hours in a day. So it's not that someone who's accomplished it has more time. It's what they're doing with their time. It's prioritizing and saying, these are the important things. You know, I take a look and say, okay, my career, my family, and these big rocks. And once you have that, and then working around the big rocks, you can do some of the other activities. But most people fill their schedule and let the tail wag the dog, so to speak. And so they're busy. They burn through. I mean, we all have to have 24 hours in a day. But what a significant difference it is when you start to wag the tail versus letting the tail wag the dog.
I truly trust that there are a lot of people out there like you and I were not too many years ago who were on this same journey, discovering what leadership was, coming to the realization that, well, I guess somebody's got to lead, taking a hold of the plow, getting to work, learning the principles, being hungry, doing the work, gaining the experience, growing in confidence, mustering courage from time to time to take some stands and to live a life well lived. And I honestly have to say, there are no regrets for a life lived leading. Hopefully you will be inspired to understand that you have the seeds of greatness within you and you can accomplish way more than you can possibly imagine. You have the abilities deep inside, bring them out, but it all starts with the first step. Remembering the ripple effect, being hungry, start learning, and attacking the status quo right where you are, with who you are, with what you've got.
That, why did I talk about that instead of vending and food? We'll get to the vending and food. But everybody here in this room, sometimes we forget those principles of leadership. Each one of you have your own company, and what we try to do is, in our company, bring everybody that we bring on board to serve our clients. We try to feed them so that when they're out there bringing food, anybody can bring food into a company, but taking care of them, meeting people's needs, being open to talk to them if they're having a bad day, that's what we try to do, is create leaders all the way through our company. Anyways, let's do the second. This is a presentation that you guys have seen before. It's going to go through real fast for the people that haven't seen it, and then we're going to get into some fun stuff. So we're going to have to go quick. Might have to click it once. No, there it goes. We work hard on getting healthier options for the clients. They ask us for fresh food and salad. Most of the time they want junk food. So the percentage, and we run these off our reports, guilty pleasures are 70 to 74, healthy choices less than 10. The orange is the recommendation, the blue is what they actually consume. So USDA wants you to have a balanced diet, but you choose most of the time not. So these are different. When we set up a micro market, we like to display it as nice as the customer wants. We have very large businesses that want very nice displays. We have other clients that just want small displays and one or two coolers. So we can basically size it for any particular customer that they want. It's nice because they can go up and grab the food. As you can see, in between stocking, how much they grab the food. These are some of our clients that we have. And we wouldn't have those clients if we weren't doing a good job. You can see that they're well-stocked shelves, a good selection, healthy options, naked juice, and the guilty pleasures over on that side. Energy drinks are a big thing. We go through a ton of different drinks. This is a standard kiosk. Mark. this is an internet line. The next generation is our phone app system. I asked Mark to log in. He's got the phone app there. He's gonna scan these barcodes, just like he's checking out. He's gonna scan every item on the table there and do a quick checkout so that you can see. It doesn't connect to the internet. A lot of cybersecurity right now, people are concerned with tying in. My major competitor this last week got hacked. He has thousands of those kiosks, and they have been down this week. So all those customers that have nothing to buy, this is the new wave of the future, where they can't hack into the side of using the phone. The other nice thing about this is we can set up a sub-market. So if you have an executive suite where there's 10 executives and they set up the health and wellness program, but they don't want to walk 7 minutes over to the cafeteria, we can put up a little snack shelf and a cooler there. Holy mackerel. Anyways, so you got them all in?
Yes.
And then you just choose the payment, refresh account, boom, it's paid for.
Nice.
That's it. Thank you.